Welcome. My name is Tracy Cook, and this is the podcast series Victim to Victory. This series gives a voice to those that have overcome obstacles in all forms, that dare greatly to share their real stories. Amazing humans like our upcoming guest that have seen hope and risen above those adversities to become victorious, but now go on to support, empower, and inspire others to do the same. Please subscribe and comment to go into our monthly draw to win access to the Brand Your Story podcast creator course, and head to our website for more information. Today, we are giving a voice to Lynda Sunshine West. And her story is amazing. I only know snippets of this, so I'm so intrigued to hear what she's got to say about this. She ran away when she was 5 years old for an entire week. Wow. She came from a home riddled with fears and became a people pleaser. And at the age of 51, I hope she doesn't mind me disclosing that, she decided to face one fear every day for an entire year. I'm absolutely fascinated to hear the rest of this story. And I think you're going to get a lot of golden nuggets because she is a seasoned speaker and she's gained an exorbitant amount of confidence and now uses what she learnt to fulfill her mission to empower 5 million women and men to write their stories. Lynda Sunshine West is the founder and CEO of Action Takers Publishing, a speaker, 15 times #1 international best-selling and award-winning author. We have a rock star with us today, executive film producer and red carpet interviewer. Lynda, welcome to Victim to Victory.
Thank you so much for having me. I love it when I hear my bio read because that's not a person I ever imagined I would be. And here I am now, that person. And this is actually perfect for this Victim to Victory podcast. I'm looking forward to finding out what your questions are.
Well, I'm intrigued because I want to know, where does your story start?
Yeah, that 5-year-old story really is where it started. I was in a very volatile, abusive, alcoholic household, like a lot of people. I'm meeting more and more people who grow up in that type of environment. But at 5 years old, I decided this is not the life for me. I'm going to run away. So I ran away and I was only at the neighbor's house. Okay. So I didn't go very far. But what happened at that 5-year-old time is a very impressionable time in our lives, right? They say the first 7 years of our lives are very instrumental in our growth and who we become. And so at 5 years old, I decided to run away and I was gone to the neighbors and nobody came to get me. So I locked on solid tight into my brain that nobody wanted me around. They didn't love me. They didn't come to get me. And that was the way I lived my life, with that belief for decades, many, many decades to come. So that's kind of like where it all starts. And when I came home, because my mom, she knew where I was, but I didn't know she knew where I was. I like to look at it. I don't know how it really is because my mom has passed away. So I don't know the truth about this, but I like to say that my mom was allowing me to exercise my independence. But what she didn't realize is that what was happening is I had this belief that she didn't love me. So it's kind of this interesting, play, pull, that we were doing and not even knowing that that's what was happening. So when I came home, she called the neighbor. She's like, Linda's been gone long enough. You can send her home now. And so I came home and literally with my tail between my legs and my head bent down. I wouldn't look at people in the eyes for many, many, many years to come because I had so much fear. So I was riddled with fear. And I became a people pleaser. My dad was very abusive and I wanted to do what I could to make sure he didn't get angry. It's like walking on eggshells every single day. And when he was gone, because he was in the Navy for a lot of those years, when he was gone, is like we were all singing. We were the Von Trapp family, from Sound of Music, because we're all very musical and having a great time. But when Dad came home, it was like shut down. So it was this weird, this weird type of environment that you really don't know where you stand from one minute to the next. Is he going to blow right now? or is he going to be happy? You know, it's like that kind of environment. But the thing was that when I came home riddled with those fears, fear ended up being the determining factor in just about every action I took in my life. I did things based on fear. So sometimes it was fear of staying, and sometimes it was fear of leaving. You know, like, for example, my first marriage was to someone just like my dad, very abusive on a daily basis. He yelled at me, "You're so stupid. You're so ignorant. People are only nice to you because they feel sorry for you." And again, I believed that stuff. Well, when I was with him, I was with him for 2 years. I had two kids, a 14-month-old and a 4-week-old. And I decided that I was going to leave. And I packed up one kid on my left hip, the other one on my right hip, diaper bag, a purse. That was it. And I walked out. I didn't have a car. So I literally walked out. Now, some people would look and say, wow, that was so brave of you. But for me, it was a matter of fear. My fear of staying with him was stronger than my fear of leaving. But it was a fearful situation for me either way. But which one was the less of the two fears? And so that's what I decided to do, is to leave instead of staying. And it's kind of interesting because that was a pattern that I started at 5 years old. I don't like it, I'm leaving. I don't like it, I'm leaving. And I did that for many, many years with jobs. I had 49 jobs in the corporate world after 36 years. And I was, just leaving one job to the next to the next. And so I like to look at it and say, like, what was that pattern I was creating? Was I creating a pattern of running away, or was I creating a pattern of running to something better? Which is, of course, the one I prefer to choose nowadays. Back in the old days, I didn't. I chose the victim mentality. And so it's been an incredible journey. At 51 is when something snapped. I was driving to my 49th job, 36 years, sitting in traffic every day, 5 days a week, 36 years. And something just like, I was so pissed or angry, because I don't know if pissed means something different in Australia. And I was pounding my hands on the steering wheel, and I was like, what is this planet all about? This is so stupid. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, what's the purpose? More importantly, what is my purpose? I have no value. I have no reason to be here. I truly believe this about myself at 51. So when I got to work that day, there was a Facebook post, and it said, "I'm a life coach. I took some time off. I'm getting back into it. I'm looking for 5 women who want to change their lives." And I was like, I'm in. I have no idea what a life coach is. I don't know what this means, but I want to change my life. And so I ended up working with her for 5 months. And that was the absolute greatest gift I've ever given to myself, saying that I deserve this change. And that was the start. Really, that is the start of my story. My story doesn't start when I'm 5. My story starts when I'm 51. And I start to change and to grow and to morph into this positive person. Sunshine's not my given name. That name was given to me about 2 or 3 years into my personal development journey. Nobody ever called me Sunshine before that. And so it's great. I took it and I glommed onto it. And I said, okay, people are calling me Sunshine just randomly. They must see something that I don't see. I'm going to go ahead and adopt that name, Sunshine. So here I am, Lynda Sunshine. Now, when I introduce myself, it's Lynda Sunshine. I no longer say it's Lynda, it's Lynda Sunshine. And so, oh my gosh, the journey has been incredible. And I ain't done yet. I got a long ways to go.
I love how you took us on the journey then. I mean, just even picturing a 5-year-old, and I think it's quite generational too. We used to just run away when we didn't like something at home, right? I don't think kids are doing that maybe as much now. I'm not quite sure, but I know that even myself, I ran away when I was little for like 3 hours or something, which felt like a week. But just that abandonment kind of feeling, like nobody cares at the age of 5, how it just cements and just transforms into everything, your work, your relationships, your journey, your self-development, your self-confidence, self-limiting beliefs. It just goes on and it's endless and endless, right? So
Yeah.
going through those emotions, and then I love it because I'm mid-century as well. I love saying mid-century. So I can so relate, and a lot of our audience will be able to relate as well, because you're never too old to dream another dream. And I heard this from somebody, and I don't quite know who it was, but they said the graveyard is the most expensive real estate on earth, because that's where your dreams go to die. And I love it how you're just shining this shining this light on the fact that you can be 50 plus. You can look back and say, that's where I was, and that's where I know and can recognize and have awareness of where I've been and where all those things that happened to me have been. But to really stand and own it at somebody who's 50 plus and say, you know what, there's more. This is just the beginning. This is just where I'm going to step into my story. So where does that leave you now? What have you accomplished? And we know what you've accomplished, but what power does that feel like? What do the emotions feel like to be 50 plus and really owning your story, ready for the next chapter?
Oh my gosh, there's this word that people use all the time, but it's like really engulfing it, is the word empowerment. Like, I feel empowered because I have moved into a state of mind where I have no no apologies necessary. And as a people pleaser, oh my gosh, I would just live my whole life for others. And I remember one of the exercises my life coach did with me that was so important for me. And that was for me to call some people that I knew liked me and ask them a simple question. And the question was, when I walk into a room, what shows up? And then you just scribble down all the things they say. And these are all these things that they see in you. And then I looked at all those different things that they said about me. And I was like, they see something in me I don't see. I need to start adopting what they believe about me so that I can become that person. And so I came up with a saying, and that's to see yourself through the eyes of others, for others see the real you. And I started saying that mantra to myself over and over and over again. When somebody would say something nice to me in the old days, if somebody would give me a compliment, I would say, oh, no, that's because whatever. And I would just discount it. And I realized that what I was doing was I was removing their opportunity to compliment me. That's a gift that they're giving me. And I was like pushing it away. And so I've just completely changed the way I see things, the way I show up. And it's kind of interesting because when I first started that journey of going from, this negative person who had a lot of anger and hate, for my dad especially, and for my mom too, I had a lot of that. I went through the forgiveness journey, I've gone through the gratitude journey, and I've gone through all these things. But at the beginning, I was just so filled with anger and hate. So as I started to make this shift, working with my life coach for 5 months, every single week, that I hated her. And then I loved her by the end of the week because I had grown, And so going through this journey with her, I got addicted to positivity. So it was interesting because I finished working with her at the end of November in 2014, and December I'm by myself. And I still made some growth because she gave me all these tools that I could tap into, but I wasn't growing as fast. And so January 1st of 2015, I woke up that morning and I said, man, I've gotten so used to making all these positive changes. I want to keep going. But you know what? I think fear is stopping me from living my life. I'm going to break through one fear every single day this year. This is my commitment to myself. So I went on that journey, and boy, did that change everything. It really opened up the lid, like that comfort zone we have, that's like a closed comfort zone. Mine has no limit to it anymore because I broke through a fear every single day for a year. I know what that's all about. And it's just completely transformed my life as to who I am. So really that empowerment piece, what I love about that word is what this means is that I no longer allow others to adversely impact my life. I used to just soak it all in, and everything I heard bad about me, I believed. And now when people say things bad about me, because it does happen, I say thank you. And then I let it bounce off and I just deflect it. And so it's changed the way I live because I have now empowered myself with those tools that I was given, but I'm keeping on going and I'm going to keep on growing. I got a long ways to go. I'm 59 years old. I feel like I'm an 8-year-old, so I haven't even made it to junior high school yet. So,
And I love that too. I mean, how many times do you receive a compliment it's like, oh, nice dress, and you negate it, right? You're like, oh, this old thing, oh, I bought it at an op shop years ago. We negate it. We don't kind of go, wow, thank you. We just have to be really open to accept that abundance and people actually, and honoring people who are complimenting or giving us a nice kind words of advice as well, right? We want to go to that place, but we can change one addiction to another, like you have as well. And I love how you put it. You come from a place of anger and things like that, and you've become addicted to positivity, which is definitely possible. And I'm so intrigued for this journey of how you faced one fear every single day. What fear did you start at?
well, there was a lot of people ask me, did you have a list? Like, how could you have 365 fears? Well, what I decided to do is, again, this was all in the spur of the moment. Like I woke up that day and I said, this is what I'm going to do. Why did that come to my mind? I have no idea, but it did. And so what it looked like is every morning, the first thing I would do before I got out of bed, I would ask myself a question. And the question was, what scares me? Those 3 words, 365 days in a row. And then I would lay in bed and I would wait until the first fear popped into my head. Now, some of the fears were extremely specific. Like one of them was go to a Starbucks and talk to a stranger. That was the fear of the day. And then sometimes it was go to a networking event, because I do a lot of networking because I'm a business owner. So go to a networking event and introduce yourself to 2 people. And so they were very, very specific. Some of them, one was go to a restaurant and tell them one only, because like I was by myself. One was like going to the movies by myself. I never did any of these things by myself. I always had people with me. So I was really just, doing these things that for some people may sound ridiculous. But here's the one thing I realized is my fear is real as real can be to me. And so I don't want anybody saying, oh, that's a ridiculous fear. Why are you scared of that? Because it is real to me. It may not be real to you, but it is real to me. And there's this saying that fear is false evidence appearing real. Well, one day I was brushing my teeth. I was like, false evidence appearing real, false evidence. There is nothing false about this at all. They do not appear real. They are real to me. And I'm going to change that acronym. And so I've created my own. My own acronym is faith erases anxious reactions. Because when our faith is strong, our fear is weak. So when our fear is strong, what does this mean? Our faith is weak. So we can tap into our faith. And I say, oh my gosh, my fear is strong right now. How is my faith? My faith in myself, my faith in my surroundings, people who have my back, and my faith in God or higher power, whatever we believe in. But those 3 things are out of alignment if my fear is strong. So I just need to tap into those and say, okay, I got this. They got me. Let's go and let's go do it. Now I do things because I'm scared. Because if you think about it, how many times have you broken through a fear? And after you were done breaking through the fear, you were proud of yourself, or you felt good, or the result you got was way better than you ever imagined. So why are we depriving ourselves of those positive results? So I now do them because I'm scared.
I love that. And I think it was Louise Hay, feel the fear and do it anyway, right? And it does. How many times have people done something and go, oh, that wasn't actually too bad? And you really have to fight that feeling of shrinking and playing small, because if things don't change, right? So I love the way you took action every single day and didn't have a plan. It's just what popped into your head that was real to you on your journey that you needed to learn about yourself or with yourself to break through those barriers, and changing programming too, I'm guessing, right?
Definitely. Because, going through being scared and not doing things because you're scared to the other way. And so for me, like the face the fear and do it anyway, or do it in spite of the fear, those to me are disempowering statements. But when I say do it because I'm scared, I'm giving myself power. So I'm giving power to the fear and my own abilities to break through it. So I like to do it because I'm scared, because it says, okay, oh, awesome. That's fear. I'm going to go do it now because I'm scared. And it's not like a countdown. It's not like oh, just break through it. No, I'm giving myself power. And so I think for me, it works really, really well with that. One of the things I discovered during this journey as well is about 6 months into it. And I started looking back and saying, okay, what is the kind of like, there's got to be some kind of common theme between them, the majority. And I discovered that the vast majority of my fears were based on the fear of judgment, which really started when I was 5 years old, carried through all of these years. And so now I know, okay, good. It's the fear of judgment. Now that I know what it is, now I can work on that specific fear. So the next 6 months, I really, really worked on that fear of judgment. I would do things like make a Facebook post and intentionally make a bunch of typos, because I had this fear that I used to read my Facebook posts 4 or 5 times before I'd post to make sure there weren't any typos. So now I'm intentionally making typos so that I could break through the fear. It might seem ridiculous, but I needed to do that. So by the end of the year, that fear of judgment, it is pretty much completely gone. And that no longer controls my life. So now I have other fears to work through, but that one has been pretty much dissolved. And that's why those accolades that, you mentioned before, the red carpet interviewing, oh my gosh, I always thought that was for those people, whoever those people are. That was not for me. That was not for me. Speaking on stage, that was not for me. That was for those people. So all these things I've done, a 15 times international, #1 international, author, like that was not for me. And so what's cool is because I have broken through all of these different fears that I have, and I'm where I am today. Again, I still have more ways to go, but where I am today, I have become one of those people. That's so cool.
It's very cool. It's very, very cool, because when we let go of old things, would you agree that it opens up space for newer things to be able to do more? Would you agree with that?
100%. One of the things that happened during this journey is about, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 months into this whole personal development journey, or remembering journey, as one of my friends likes to call it, is that I looked back and I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to this person in months. You know what? It's because I'm changing and she's not. And then I said, I'm okay with that. Because the old me would have been scared about what she thought of me. This is a friend that I've known for a long, long time. And she just kind of disappeared off the radar because I was not the same person as I was, and that she is. And so I had to be okay with that. And I realized that I am okay with that, because I want to grow into somebody who is surrounded by positivity. So that's what I started doing, is surrounding myself by a bunch of positive, forward moving, motivational, inspirational people, because I wanted to become positive, inspirational, motivational. I wanted to become that person. So I started hanging out with those people. And it is interesting how people who aren't in that space, or who aren't in that, what do you call it, that vibration level, because I definitely vibrate at a higher, more positive level now, they won't want to be near you. And you just have to be okay with that. Life's a lot better on this side, trust me.
And I hear that so often as well, Lynda. I had it in a group of friends myself as well, and they're going, "Oh, you've changed so much," and I'm like, "Oh, thank you," and they're like, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I'm okay with me congratulating myself for the change, because it's like the crabs in the bucket story, right? The crab tries to go out, and the other crabs are pulling it down where it's safe and it's cozy, and we don't know what's outside the bucket. Don't go out there. And I love that when people say, and I love saying that to people too, and I'm sure you do too, Lynda, and you get an opportunity in the circles you move in to tell people and breathe life into people, oh, you've changed, and actually mean it as a compliment, right? Coming from
Yes.
a place of abundance and love, and knowing how hard it is for someone's journey to actually get there in those rooms of positive people. and saying you've changed, but it has a different meaning in different circles, right? And
Yes.
I love the way you kind of explained that then, that you have to be okay with that. And if you're not, then you need to reevaluate that, would you say?
Yeah, definitely. Because what is the fear, right? What is the comfort zone that you're wanting to go back into? And do you want to go back into it? So yeah, after breaking through a fear every single day, what I came up with this idea that our comfort zone, it's that place that we're comfortable. It doesn't mean it's a good place. It just means we're comfortable there. My mom was with my abusive dad for 55 years. 55 years. The first words she said when my dad passed away were, "Thank God the bastard is dead." Those are her first words. But that was
Mhm.
her comfort zone. She ran away and always went back the same day, always went back. And so when I was breaking through these fears, I'd like to kind of compare it to blowing up a balloon. So the first time you blow up a balloon, it's really hard to blow up, and it doesn't really blow up very far, but then you let the air out and then you go to blow it up again. It's a little bit easier the next time, and it blows up a little bit further the next time. And so you keep doing this. So as I broke through these fears, imagine you blew up a balloon 365 times, and it just kept getting easier and bigger and easier and bigger until one day I said, you know what, there is no more limit to this comfort zone for me. It has no lid. And that's what I wanted to create, was this for me, a mentality that I can do anything. As long as I set my mind to it and I move forward, I can do anything, and I can. I just have to decide.
Everything's just one decision away. You've shared so many golden nuggets, so many useful, practical, relatable tips for our audience to follow up as well. What kind of message would you like to leave the audience on today, Lynda?
Yeah, two things. First is, don't let fear stop you from living your life. Don't get to the end where you're like, oh man, I have so many regrets of things that I didn't do. Go live. You get one chance at it. And the last thing is that you are never, ever too old to start something new. I started my business at age 51. I didn't have a pension. I didn't have a retirement. I didn't have a like a little nest egg ready to go. But I knew that I wanted to start living my life, and that's what I started doing. And I have zero regrets over all the decisions that I've made this last 8 years. I've had a lot of ups and downs. I've lost a lot of money along the way, but you know what? It doesn't matter, because I'm living the life I truly want to live. And it's been amazing. And that's what I wish for other people.
Oh, I love that. Absolutely got my heartstrings there, Lynda. You really did, because it just resonates, especially off the tail end of the last couple of years, and people reinventing themselves, even seasoned people going, why am I here? What's my purpose? How can I do it differently? And you are such a thought leader and in that space as well. So thank you very much for being brave to share your story. You're so appreciated, and we'll be sharing where to connect with Lynda Sunshine West. You can find the Victim to Victory podcast series on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. If you got value from today, and I know you did, then please subscribe and comment so that Lynda can get the support that she so rightly needs to go and create that ripple effect to empower and inspire other communities. And head to our website so that you can find out more about the upcoming podcast episodes in Victim to Victory, and figure out who you are. Do it on purpose. Thank you very much. And until the next episode, thank you, Lynda.
Thank you.